RV again, and how nice is it standing underneath this beautiful awning on side of one of our Supreme Territory caravans. The awnings are a fantastic addition on any caravan, but they are one of the most commonly confused items when it comes to setting them up. So we thought we would create a little video just to step you through the process to ensure that every time you're following the right process and getting the awning out exactly like this each and every time with very little fuss or effort. So follow me over the next couple of minutes. We're going to show you through so you can become an expert in the caravan park at setting up your awning on your new caravan. Alrighty guys, so step number one, the most important thing to remember on any rollout awning is these black locking knobs down the bottom, okay? So this is what gets a lot of people confused. So down the bottom on the back side of your rollout awning arm, you'll have this little black locking knob. So we simply twist that and we loosen that one off. We'll then work our way from the bottom of the arm up. Next, towards the middle of the arm, we have our safety travel lock, okay? So that one holds the inner and outer arms together and ensures that they stay connected whilst you're traveling. So before we roll it out, we want to make sure that we loosen that lock off as well. So simply squeeze the two arms together, we lift the lock and just twist that over to the side, and then we do the same at the other end. So we're going to do the exact same thing at the back of the van. So again, loosening off that bottom lock, squeezing our two arms together, lifting up and swiveling around that travel lock to release those two arms. Okay, so that's step number one and step number two done. So now what we need to do is we need to grab our hook so we can latch in and pull down our cord and bring the awning down into the rolled out position. But first of all, I'm going to show you exactly what that hook looks like. You'll find it in your front boot. So many times we get asked what this is inside of people's caravans. This is the hook or the pull rod for your rollout awning. I'm going to show you how we use that now. Okay, so on the back side of your rollout awning, okay, so as you're looking at any caravan or looking at your awning, it is on the right hand side or the rear of the awning. You're going to have our little toggle here, okay, so this is our open close switch. So straight away when the awning is back against the van in a travel position, it's in its closed position, we need to flick that lever into the open position. So I'm going to do that now. I'm just going to use this because again, we are an off-road van on display here. So if you can reach it, you can flick it with your finger. If not, use this trusty little hook just to flick the lever. So we're going to put that there. Okay, so that's pushed forward now into the open position. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back to this strap or pull cord, okay? So if you can't reach it, simply use the end of our hook, okay? Hook that through like so, and then you're just gonna pull that down slightly until you can reach it with your hand. Once you've got it with your hand, then you can just let go of this. I'm just gonna place it down on the ground. Now what we wanna do is we wanna pull this pull cord all the way until the awning is fully wound down. Okay, so that is all the way down. It isn't going to come out anymore, and we can see that we have our little flap over the side has come all the way out. So that is wound down the whole way. We need to make sure we come all the way before we do anything with the arms. But that is completely rolled down now. We're going to jump to the arms and just show you step number 4 and 5. Okay, so earlier in step number 1, I said the most important thing was to loosen this black locking knob. Now that we're up to step number 4, you can see why. Okay, because we see the length that the inner arm has extended down. Now, as we've pulled the awning down, this inner arm has come out with it. If you try to pull the awning down with this black locking knob tight, it isn't going to enable this to come out of the inner tube. And that is what happens with a lot of awnings, and they do get jammed up, okay? So very important to always start with this black locking knob nice and loose, because we just have a prime example here that is extended down to see exactly what the purpose of that is to start with. So now step number 4 is we need to engage our inner arms, okay? So that's simply just gonna slide, all right? So we just slide them all the way up. Okay, so when we get to the top, you'll see a little black button. We're just gonna simply press that in. The inner lever will slide over the top and just lock into place. Now we're doing exactly the same thing on the other end. So whatever we do on one side, we do on the other. So inner arm sliding all the way up, pressing our little black lever down and locking into position. Okay, so as we can see now, both of our inner arms are fully extended and placed into position up at the top of the awning. So that is step number 4 done. Now what we need to do is step number 5. We need to lift our lifting arm and we need to slide out the main arm. So I'm just going to do this nice and slow so we can follow along at home. We're going to lift this inner lever. You'll then see underneath there is a little silver tab. We're going to lift, take a little bit of weight. So I always like to use both hands here. I have my sliding hand and then I take a bit of weight with the opposite one. So we're going to take a little bit of weight, we're going to engage the tab and we're simply going to slide up into position. So as we slide this up, you're going to see that little silver tab again. As you release it, will lock in at whatever desired height you like. So you have a number of different slots inside of the awning arm. Now, depending on what one we want to release that into will depend on exactly how high we put the awning arm up, okay? So just making sure that we're conscious of looking inside of these tabs so the silver, this little silver tongue will go into the right tab on this lifting arm. Okay, so just duplicating exactly the same thing. So I'm going to be taking weight in my right arm here and I'm going to be sliding with my left arm. So I take a bit of weight, I pull the tab back, okay, and then we're sliding up. Now I'll lock that one into position. Now I count my tabs. I can see 1, 2, 3. I'm in the 4th one back from the top, which means that I'm the same height front and back on the rollout awning. Okay, so we started off with our black locking knob and we finish off with our black locking knob. 2 very important steps to remember is the first and the last. So now we have our awning out, we have it at a desired height, and we're the same height front and rear. We just want to retighten this little black locking knob. So I always like to pull a little bit of tension down. So I take a little bit of weight, I pull a bit of tension, and then I simply tighten that lock up there. Okay, so we see the importance of what I just mentioned about pulling some tension down. So we see the slack in the vinyl here. When the wind picks up, you're going to get that flap, okay? So there is anti-flap kits available to take that out. What I like to do just to do that help is, as I mentioned, just pull a little bit of weight down, and it's just going to tighten this vinyl up before we tighten that black locking knob into position. Okay, so here I am underneath our awning and following our six-step process to putting out the rollout awning. Super simple. As you've seen, we had that up in a couple of minutes. Okay, so as I mentioned, our awning is now dead level. We're down 4 notches from the top on both sides and the awning is out, locked into position. But as we know, from time to time, we are going to get a bit of rain and we're going to get a bit of drizzly weather. As a bit of a pro tip, if it is really gusty, okay, I would suggest putting the awning away. However, if it's not gusty and it's just a bit of rain, it's just a bit of drizzle, what we can do is we can lower the side that is opposite to your main door. Okay, so it's something that I love to do when we go away, if we do get a bit of rain, is I don't want the water pooling off evenly and creating a whole heap of mud out the front of my camp. As we can see, our door in this layout is at the front of the van. So I come to the opposite end to where the door is. And what I simply do is I take a bit of weight, I lift this up and I just drop it down 3, 4 or 5 notches. Now we're going to zoom you back and you'll see the angle we've now created. So as the rain is falling on top of this big vinyl awning section, it is going to then all come and fall running back to the back side of the van, which means you're not going to have a big mud pool and a whole heap of water pooling at the front of the van in the event you do happen to hit that little bit of weather. Okay guys, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the exact reverse now and we're going to show you how to put it away in the same 6 simple steps. Okay, first of all, we want to make sure that we loosen these black locking knobs at both ends of our awning. Step number 2 is we lower our arm. So our lifting lever, we pull the lever out, we take a little bit of weight again, slide that silver tab down and we let it drop all the way down. Now the same down the other end. Okay, and now our inner arms are going to slide back. So we simply press in that little black button at the top and we slide that all the way down the bottom to the stopper. And again, the same at the other end. Okay, so this is our pull strap. I like to slide it out just so it's not in the road, but before we want to wind the awning back up, we need to make sure that we slide that back in. There's a little channel on the back side of the awning roller and that goes straight in there like so. Okay, so now both of our arms are all the way down to the stopper with our main arm and all the way in with our inner arm. So they are in the position now to be ready to be rolled up against the side of the caravan. But before we do that, I'm just going to show you another little pro tip to keep an eye out, which can jam you up when you're in the roll up position. If I get you up nice and close here, you'll see our travel latches quite often can fold over when we're using them, okay? So, and that will jam up when we go to roll it up. So what we want to make sure is before we roll up that we're actually open on both sides so the outer arm can slip over the inner arm. Okay, so today I've demoed this on my own, so a one-person setup. You can have two of you doing it and obviously do one end at a time. Now, if you do have two of you doing it, I'd encourage one to be standing in the center of the awning with the strap whilst one flicks the lever, okay? It's very, very, very important that we don't flick this lever without having hold of the awning, okay? Because it will engage the spring, it has tension, and it will fly back against the side of the van out of your control. So we do not put this into the closed position without having weight on this pull strap. So as I'm doing a one-person setup, what I'm going to do is I am going to have the strap in one hand, I'm going to flick the lever with the other, and whilst holding weight and holding tension on it, I'm going to slide the strap back into the center. Okay, so if you're setting it up on your own, this is how you would do it. If you're doing a two-person setup, one would already be standing in the center holding weight on the cord while the other flicks the lever. So now I'm back in the center, okay, and I'm just going to let the strap roll through my fingers. Okay, now we have you up a bit closer. I'm still holding tension on the strap, okay, but I'm just going to show you if I was to hold the strap dead straight, as it rolls up, it's going to roll on top of itself, okay? What I like to do is hold the strap on a slight angle. This will mean the strap will roll up over a distance, okay? Won't roll on top of itself and potentially stretch the vinyl over a period of time. So this is a good thing if you're keeping your van for 5 to 10 years. It's going to help better maintain the vinyl on top of your awning. So all we simply do is we come off on a slight angle and then just let that slide in. Now I'm fortunate that I'm 6'2", then I can actually just let go of it here, but if you are a little vertically challenged, just grab the hook again at this stage, hook it in and then allow it to go the rest of the way up, okay? But for me and this purpose, I'm just going to let this go up by myself and let that go in the top position like so. Okay, so now we have successfully closed the awning, okay? Now what we need to do before we travel, super important to remember, we always finish off with our travel safety clip, tightening that up and then tightening our black locking knob. So for the one up the top is where we start, squeeze the two arms together and then slide that clip down into position. Coming down, our black locking knob, again, we're simply just gonna tighten that one back up. Okay, and last but not least, we're gonna do the same thing on the other arm. So squeeze the two arms together, travel lock up, and slide it down at the back. Finishing off with our black locking knob, just tighten that one up, finger tight. So there we have it, guys. That is our rollout awning on side of our Supreme Caravan, a Supreme Territory on the demonstration here. This is an Lux awning, okay, but they are all the same step-by-step process. Just the travel locks and the black locking knobs may look slightly different, but the step-by-step process to all of our rollout awnings is the same. So follow our simple step-by-step process in this video, share it with your friends, share it with your family, and ensure that you're a pro when you pull up at your next destination and come to roll your rollout awning out. Can't wait to see you soon, guys. Any further questions, reach out. Our team would love to help you.